There has been some recent discussion surrounding Aiden Hutchinson and some reporting around the Detroit Lions potentially signing Aiden Hutchinson to a long-term extension. And what I'd like to do right now is kind of go through the potential implications and some very big issues that are happening or potential to happen for Aiden Hutchinson and the Detroit Lions. And I'd like to say the Lions and Brad Holmes, and everybody involved in contract negotiations try to avoid the big issues, right? Try to avoid the big headlines that right now we're seeing around the league that are not a good look for the Cincinnati Bengals and other teams that have been in hot, contentious contract situations with some of their star players. But right now, Aiden Hutchinson is currently under his rookie deal, which Lions decided to pick up their fifth-year option, keeping him in town through 2026 at a minimum. Now, the eligibility for Aiden started 3 years after he was drafted in the first round, so drafted in 2022. Aiden was able to ask for an extension after year 3. Now, it's not like Aiden is making peanuts right now. I mean, signing the number 2 overall contract definitely carried some big numbers. And as I think a lot of us, Lions fans and people around the league expect, that Aiden has produced enough to warrant an extension. And then the injury happened. And nobody really knows where Aiden is going to be today, tomorrow, the end of this season, and his future. And it could be a potential hot button issue again for the Lions if they don't get something done sooner rather than later and allow this to kind of spill over, until a later date. So my question to you right away is, does Aiden deserve an extension right now, even knowing that he's coming off of a major injury? Based on his past performance, do you think that he should break the bank and get more money than Myles Garrett? I would love to know in the comments below what your thought process is right now. We've seen it, all over the map. You've got the hardcore fans that are thinking, yep, you pay Aiden as much as you can right now, lock him up. And then you have the other side of the fan base that is saying, yeah, we kind of need to wait and see what he's going to be. And then you got the people in the middle that say, well, what happens if he has a really big season and now you have to pay him more? And see, I don't see that happening. I don't see the Lions having to pay Aiden Hutchinson any more than Myles Garrett. I think that we have finally figured out that the floor is probably around $33 million and the ceiling is probably $40 million and $1. Just a little bit more than Myles Garrett. I will definitively argue this the rest of my life that Aiden Hutchinson is not on the same tier as Myles Garrett. Therefore, I don't believe the money should be the same either. But that is for Brad and the Lions and Aiden and his agent to figure out. The impact of the injury obviously is a key factor in all of this. The timing of the extension, the negotiations, after the recovery, before the recovery. I mean, all of this plays a key role. And then you have the season, right? Last year, he was on a tear. Now, I'm not going to go deep off into, the type of tackles he was going up against or, the quality of offensive linemen he was going up against. He was on a tear, and it's hard to get sacks in the NFL. So what he was doing was notable. And I think that for anybody to have that kind of a start to a season, one can assume where it would have ended. But it didn't. And it ended in a severe injury in week 6. I believe it was the fourth quarter of the Dallas Cowboys game. Now, there's a lot of nuances to these negotiations that we're finding out right now. And how are the Lions going to avoid these major issues? The Lions have yet to have a player hold out. The Lions have yet to have a player publicly, shame the team for not wanting to get an extension done or making them feel like they're cheap. And we've seen it from Trey Hendrickson very early off in this offseason. 30-year-old, smashing, sack records, or at least the sack leader last couple of seasons. I mean, having an epic prime of his career right now. It was reported that the Bengals made a promise to Trey Hendrickson that should he continue the rise that he was on and have another good season in 2024, that they would absolutely get a deal done. But the Bengals prioritized getting Jamar Chase and T. Higgins taken care of as opposed to Trey Hendrickson. And so now he's kind of left on an island, no deal in place, entering the last year of his career. His highlights again, sack leader, led the NFL with 17.5 sacks in 24. He was named to a first-team All-Pro in 24. Selected to 4 consecutive Pro Bowls. He was the Deacon Jones Award winner in 24. His production as a pass rusher, he recorded 57 total sacks with the Bengals since 2021. That's a lot of sacks. That's over 10 a season on average. Matter of fact, that's over 12 a season on average. It's almost 13. Actually, it might even be more than that. That's like 15 a season almost. So that's about 14. Anyway, math is not my strong suit today, I guess. So we're in this contract here, right? Hendrickson wants a deal. He's currently making $15.8 million. He's publicly decried, to Pat McAfee, to Rich Eisen, to local beat reporters, that the Bengals have cut off all communication. They're not talking to him. And it's not pushing the needle, right? Nothing's getting done. What are they going to do? And my question to you, do you expect to have these issues with Aiden Hutchinson? Because now we have another rookie on the same team, Shamar Stewart, for the Cincinnati Bengals. This should be simple stuff, right? You have a collective bargaining agreement that says that your rookie contracts are supposed to be X, Y, and Z. There's some little nuances in there about what the team can do, how they can add things to it, but they can't take anything away. And reports say that they're trying to set a precedent with Shamar Stewart, and they're trying to take away some of his future guarantees. I don't even see how this is possible. This is the sticking point right now for Shamar Stewart not playing, or at least not practicing. He's shown up at practice, but he left the final OTAs yesterday. Just walked off and left his team high and dry as a rookie, not building good relationships with the guys in the building. Joe Burrow came out and publicly said that these distractions are not what they expected for 2025. The distractions were bigger last year, but even now they're starting to get bigger than what he expected. I understand Stewart's position. He wants, consistent language in his contract compared to the other deals, and especially for the other first-round football players that, were selected to the Bengals. At 18, I think it was Amarius Mims and some others, and he just wants that language to be the same. And the Bengals' position is that they believe the contract is standard, and they're trying to set this new precedent, which no one has seen yet. So why didn't they do it before, and why are they trying to do it now? Do they not believe in Shamar Stewart? Are they trying to make sure at some point they can get rid of him if they need to and not be under the gun of having to owe him a bunch of money? I mean, the potential outcomes here are that Stewart sits out the entire season. And then he could re-enter the draft in 2026. Imagine that for a moment. You spend a first-round pick in 2025 on Shamar Stewart, I think number 17 overall, and he may sit out and re-enter the draft in 2026. That's incredible to think about. Major issues. So the Detroit Lions and Brad Holmes have escaped having any of these issues so far in all of their contract negotiations. Whether it was Aleem McNeil, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Derek Barnes, I mean, you name it, right? We don't have guys really sitting out. But now the first shoe may have dropped with Alex Anzalone. If Alex Anzalone doesn't get a new deal, if that's what's really holding him up from showing up in OTAs, which again, he really hasn't practiced in OTAs, at least to recent memory and other reports state, he really hasn't come to voluntary OTAs. But if he doesn't show up in training camp that begins in just a few weeks, what then? Are we going to start having some of the same issues that the Bengals are having? And how big of a stain is that going to put on the team and their performance? How big of a distraction will it become, and will that distraction be too great for the team to overcome? I guess is the bigger question. So you let me know in the comments below. Do you trust that Brad Holmes is going to continue to make sure that his players get taken care of as he's promised, and as he has held true, thus far, that everyone has gotten taken care of that he's promised? You do your job, right? Draft, develop, then do your job, and we'll get you taken care of. Alex was a free agent, and he's been one of the glue guys, Lions royalty right now, one of the best guys on the team. And he's needed for 2025, and I'm now beginning to wonder if he's going to be on the field in 2025. That's it for this segment. Will Brad Holmes avoid the major issues? We definitely don't want to be like the Cincinnati Bengals, and I trust in the Detroit Lions to get the job done. Thank y'all for watching. Please hit that subscribe and like button on the way out. We'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.